What's going on, brother? Today we're going to talk about what's the best way to track your progress. And if you're new here, my name's Gino, and for the last 12 years of my life, I've been a men's fitness and personal development coach, helping hundreds of men just like you build their first 25 pounds of muscle. So let's jump into it today and talk about what the best way to track your fitness progress is. And it's important that we track progress because your perception of normal changes every day. So when you wake up and you look at the mirror at yourself, right? You're going to change each and every day. That is your new normal for today. So that is what you're comparing yourself to. So it's important that we track our progress as well, because if we're not, we're going to end up losing morale, right? It's really hard to stay on a fitness journey if we can't see that we're making tangible progress. So there's a couple different ways that we could track progress, and I'm going to go over them in this video today. So what we want to understand first is there's two different ways to track progress. One of them is objective, and one of them subjective, right? Objective is like the numbers, right? Like what can we measure? What can we quantify with our progress? And subjective is how you feel about it and how it looks, okay? Very opinion-based. So there's a couple different ways that we're going to go about tracking our progress. So let's start off with the first one. This is called an in-body scan. I talk about this in another video, but an in-body scan is one of the most accurate ways for you to track your progress. Why? Because it's not just weight, okay? Because when you weigh yourself, what is it weighing exactly? Say you end up building some muscle and losing fat, and then when you go to look at the scale, if you're trying to lose weight, you see that you haven't lost anything. Well, that's because you've ended up building muscle and then losing fat, so your weight kind of net out, okay? So you want to take a scan that's much more accurate. It tells you exactly how much muscle mass you have and exactly how much fat you have. And what you do for that is called an in-body scan. Now, in-body scans, you don't need to go to a hospital or anything like that to get it scanned. You don't step into a big pod or a big machine. It's going to give you a scan. It's only going to take about 45 seconds. Now, where can you get one of these done? There's places like nutritional shops that sell supplements. You know, I recommend calling up to all the nutritional shops and saying, hey, do you guys have an in-body scan that I can use? I'm sure they're more than happy to let you use it for free, okay? Another one is like a Lifetime Fitness, like a big gym. A lot of these big gyms end up having them in there as well. So if you go to a big gym, go ahead and ask them, do you guys have an in-body scan here? So in-body scans are probably one of the best ways to track your progress because it'll tell you exactly how much fat you've gained or lost and exactly how much muscle you've gained or lost. The next thing is going to be pictures because, look, your body's going to change, right? And sometimes, like I was mentioning, you end up building muscle and losing fat, especially when you first get started. So if you look at the scale, not much has changed. But if you actually look at pictures of yourself over a period of time, you'll say, man, my body's actually changed a lot. I've tightened up in some areas. My posture's gotten better, right? It looks like I added some shoulders. Like, there's a lot of things that pictures can do for you by giving you evidence of seeing your body in a total view, okay? So making sure you're taking pictures. What I recommend is taking pictures from the front, from the side, and also from the back, okay? This is going to allow you to get a full idea of what your changes are looking like and how it's taking place, right? So that's another great way to track your progress is to take pictures. How often should you take pictures? Well, I take them about every week, okay? You don't want to take them every day. That gets a little demoralizing unless you're keeping yourself accountable by saying, hey, I'm going to the gym and I'm taking a picture of myself. That's a good way to keep yourself accountable, but I would say every week is a good time to take pictures. Do it every like Sunday or something. Another way to track our progress is measurements in like clothes. You know, if you get one of those like measuring tapes that you could wrap around body parts, you could take measurements. Now, maybe your arms grew a little bit, or maybe your waist shrank. You know, by keeping measurements, that is a great way to track your progress as well. Or you could just see how your clothes fit. You know, throw your clothes on. If you feel like they're fitting differently, that means your body's changing shape, right? So that's another great way to track progress in terms of it being subjective, is how do your clothes fit? Now, another thing is weight. Now, weight is something that's great if you just have a bunch of weight that you need to lose, okay? If you go step on a scale, you could buy a scale for like 10 bucks on Amazon or something, right? It's a very cheap way to track progress. It's not the most ideal and most accurate way, but it's still a great way to track it, especially if you're trying to lose weight. So what I recommend with weighing yourself, if you're trying to lose weight specifically, I'd recommend taking your weight every single day and then averaging it out for the week, okay? Because your body will fluctuate with how it dispenses water or what foods that you eat certain days. So your weight can change variably from day to day. So you want to make sure you net it out for the week and you say, okay, what is the average amount of weight that I've lost or gained during the week? And the last way to track your fitness progress is going to be tallying or documenting, right? Now, one of the ways that you can do this is think about like with a diet, right? Every single day, you're typing the foods that you eat into like a food calculator. That's a good way to document, right? That's a good way to see progress, because maybe you can look back at the week and say, man, I hit all my meals for the week. I hit all of my targets in terms of what I'm supposed to eat to build muscle or to lose fat. So tallying off your diet each and every day is a great thing. Also your workouts. Like, hey, I did this workout this week. Hey, I trained my chest this week. Hey, I trained my back this week. Being able to check those things off is a great way to keep track of your progress, because you can start to see that you're building consistency over time, and that's great psychologically for helping you form the habit. And then lastly is going to be your weights, okay? Write down the weights that you use, or just keep a mental note of them, but like writing them down is very useful, because you can go back and you can see, are you getting stronger? Are you starting to use more weight? Maybe you haven't noticed it. Maybe when you picked a weight up for the first time, it was kind of heavy, and now you're doing it 10 times very easily, or maybe you've increased a lot. Now, weight is another great way that you can use to track your progress, because it lets you know that your strength is changing. So there's many ways to track your progress. In terms of it being the best way, it really depends on what your goal is. Because like I said, you could figure out how much muscle and fat you're losing or gaining, and then you could also figure out if you're getting stronger. Okay, so there's many different ways that you can go about tracking your fitness progress. Now, if you like this video and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit the like button down below for me and subscribe to my YouTube channel.